Hey guys, we just finished 6 weeks in Puerto Vallarta and we thought that we would share with you what our costs were for the 6 weeks that we were there. We have a couple of categories and we'll break it down and show you guys what it cost us to spend our 6 weeks in Puerto Vallarta. But first we just wanted to talk just a little bit about our time there and our experiences and what it was like for us to be there. We had a lot of fun.
We did. Puerto Vallarta was amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful city.
That was our first stop on our Mexican leg. We're here in Mexico for 6 months and that was our first stop. So lots of getting used to being down here full-time in Mexico, getting used to the heat and the humidity, and
practicing our Spanish.
Yeah, definitely practicing our Spanish. We had a good time. We had a lot of fun. We discovered a lot of really fun restaurants and bars, and got to walk the Malecon, which was beautiful, and sightsee, and there was a lot of sightseeing, lots of really interesting people. That was really fun. Some
day trips, and it was just amazing just being in the city. You had the mountains in the background with the jungle, and then you had the ocean on the other side. It was just, it's a magical city. It is really, really beautiful. If you have not been to Puerto Vallarta, I highly recommend that you go check it out. It is worth it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So Puerto Vallarta is broken up into a couple of different little neighborhoods, little pocket neighborhoods, and we stayed in the Zona Romantica. It was very eclectic. It was pretty cool. It's a very LGBTQ plus friendly area. So there was lots of clubs and bars and restaurants that catered to that type of environment and that community, and it was just so much fun to be there.
It was a great location, and it was just really fun just seeing people getting to be themselves. It was just amazing. Such a wonderful experience. Loved it.
It was very fun. We became friends with our neighbor who we would see all the time, and we would wave at each other. So got to be friends with our housekeepers that were coming by and have lots of conversations where we got to practice our Spanish. It was a lot of fun. We met some really wonderful, warm, inviting people that made our trip just incredible to be there.
We did. Now, without further ado, we're going to jump into the budget side. So we kind of broke things down into several different categories. Now, when we do these budget videos, we will have the same categories. We'll list everything up on the screen so that you can see everything, but we will do a final cost breakdown of everything that it cost us to stay in that location. Now, of course, we are in Mexico, so the national currency is the Mexican peso. So while we have been here, of course, we've been paying in Mexican pesos, but we are going to convert everything to US dollars because we are from the US, and a lot of people compare things using the US dollar. So everything will be done in US dollars. All right, so the different categories that we are going to use are going to be accommodation, restaurants, groceries, entertainment. Now, entertainment is going to include any tickets that we went to, tour tickets, things like that, shows that we might have seen, and it's also going to include our adult beverages. So that is going to also be included in there. And transportation, so all of the, if we take a train, if we take a bus, if we take an Uber, a taxi, what is not going to be included in the transportation is our flights, changing locations or getting to the country. Now, the reason we're not going to include the flights is because that cost varies greatly depending on what time of year you're flying, how many people are going, what class of ticket that you purchase on the airplane. So that just varies greatly. So we will not include any of our flights in our budget videos. And we're going to round it off with a general category. Now, in the general category, it's going to include our health insurance, because we can't be rolling around the world without health insurance. So it's going to include our health insurance, Netflix, gotta have Netflix. It's going to include our VPN. If you don't know what a VPN and you're going to be traveling around using a lot of public Wi-Fi connections, I recommend that you do that just for safety and security. Our medications, our cell plans, our data plans for our cell phones, just things like that. Just kind of all the things that don't fit in one of the other categories is going to get lumped into the general category.
So the first category that we have is our accommodations, and we choose to use Airbnb. They give a discount usually when you stay. The longer that you stay, the greater the discount. And we found that staying usually about 30 days, about a month period of time, would greatly reduce our costs in accommodations.
Yeah.
And we decided to also do what is called slow travel. So we're staying about a month, about 4 weeks, give or take a little bit, in each location that we're going to be at. So that is what suited us best and suited our budget the best. So for the 6 weeks that we were in Puerto Vallarta, our Airbnb total came to $1,209.25.
So next up is our restaurants. Like Melissa had mentioned a little while ago, there in the area that we were at in Puerto Vallarta, there were just tons of great restaurants, really, really good restaurants. We had our favorites, and we ran into a couple that we tried, and we won't go back. Without listing any names of restaurants that we absolutely loved, if you have any questions about which ones that we did really like, you can just ask us a question down in the comments, and we'd be more than happy to provide a couple of the names of the restaurants that we went to. But for restaurants, for the 6 weeks, we ended up spending $998.44 for the entire 6 weeks that we were there. We did eat out quite a bit. We enjoyed the food. There was a huge variety too. It wasn't just the delicious Mexican cuisine, which of course can be found all over Mexico, but we found some really good pizza. We found an incredible Italian restaurant. We found a lot of different things. We found, how do you say it? Acai bowls?
Oh.
Acai, how do you say that?
Acai.
Acai bowls, yeah, we found those. We found a great little place. We went over there several times for breakfast, but a great, great place. If you are a foodie, Puerto Vallarta will absolutely satisfy that foodie in you for sure.
And I'm sure that some of you are following Jason's taco counter too. We definitely had a favorite taco stand that we went back to several times and kind of became friends with the owners. We would just be walking down the street on the opposite end, and they'd be like waving at us, "Hey guys, hey!" And
Yeah.
call us over. So we frequented that taco shop quite a bit.
Yeah, and don't be thinking that I'm going to give the total number of tacos that I've consumed to date. I will not be giving that information out until the very, very end. When we get ready to leave Mexico, in our final video, when we do the budget wrap up of our last location, I will absolutely give the total tally of how many tacos I consumed in 6 months in Mexico. If you want to take some guesses as to how many it's going to be, throw them down in the comments. I would love to see what your guesses are and how many you think I'm going to eat within 6 months.
So the next category that we have is our grocery bill. And we tried to cook at home whenever we rent our Airbnbs. We try and make sure that there's a full kitchen in it so that we can still cook at home like we would back in the States.
Mm-hmm.
We make coffee for ourselves in the morning and try and have dinner almost every evening at the house, unless there's really good restaurants to go to. So our grocery bill was a little lower this time in Puerto Vallarta. Like Jason was saying, we went out to eat quite a bit, but we actually enjoy cooking in our own place, and we just have some of our own comfort food recipes that are our go-to that are just really easy. They require a lot of minimal preparations and minimal ingredients, but they're a good go-to for us, and they're really cheap. We actually kind of joke that we're a little like college students cooking
Yes.
sometimes with our ramen noodle masterpieces and coming up with some different things that are just easy and cheap. So our total grocery bill for the 6 weeks that we were in Puerto Vallarta was $339.24.
Yeah, that's a lot less than our restaurant bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so for the next category, we have entertainment. So like I mentioned before, entertainment includes any tickets that we bought. We actually went to an incredible show in Zona Romantica. It was their final night of the season because we went right at the end of, right at the beginning of their off season. So we caught them on their final night. Incredible show that we went to see. So that is in there. But like I said, all of our beverages are on there also. So for a total of 6 weeks in Puerto Vallarta, We ended up spending $398.13 in the entertainment category. And that includes our beverages, tickets, admissions into things, all things like that.
So the last category that we have is our transportation category. Actually, I take that back. There's one more after this. But the transportation category, this was some of our Uber rides. And sometimes we would just take an Uber if it was too hot or we had to walk really far carrying a bunch of groceries. We would just take an Uber home from the grocery store. That was super convenient. Our bus rides, stuff like that. So that falls into that category. That wound up for 6 weeks being $48.93 total.
I know. You'd think that would be a lot more for not having a vehicle and being in Puerto Vallarta for 6 weeks, but
we walked a lot.
It's very walkable.
Yeah.
You stay in the right location in Puerto Vallarta, and it's very walkable. Also, some of you may have seen our video where we took a day trip to Boca de Tomatlan. We took the bus there and we took the bus back. What did it take? About an hour each way, probably?
It was only about half an hour there and half an hour back. Yeah, it was pretty quick. And that's with a bunch of stops on the way there and back.
Yeah, and it was 20 pesos per person each way. So 20 pesos ends up being around maybe $1.20, $1.25 per person each way. So an extremely affordable way to get around when you're in Puerto Vallarta is to take the bus. But like Melissa mentioned, there's taxis and Ubers and everything else. So now the final category, which is the general category, it includes our health insurance. Now, what we use for our health insurance, it's not your typical like travel insurance, where travel insurance will cover loss of baggage. Now it does cover some of these things, but honestly our credit card, our travel credit card that we use covers delayed flights, canceled transportation, loss of baggage, things like that. So our health insurance that we use is strictly for emergency health issues that may come up while we're traveling. And we use Safety Wing. Now this is not a paid promotion. I'm just letting everybody know what we use. We use Safety Wing. And Safety Wing insurance ends up costing Melissa and I $147.84. So that's what we pay per month.
Yeah, per month.
Yeah, that's what we pay per month, and that covers us if anything was to happen while we're out traveling. And it also includes Netflix, and you all know about what Netflix costs. It's like $17 a month. VPN, which is extremely affordable. We use Surfshark. Any medications, our cell data plans. So while we were in Puerto Vallarta, our cell phone plans with unlimited social media and unlimited text and calls to Mexico, Canada, and the United States, our cell phone plans were only about $10 per person per month. Much cheaper than what we were paying in the United States. Much, much cheaper. So, without further ado, the total for the general category was $202.47.
With all the categories added up, our grand total for 6 weeks, 42 days in Puerto Vallarta came to $3,196.46. And that's for 2 people. And that breaks down per person per day to $38.06.
Yeah, so not too bad. It is within the budget that we have set for ourselves. If some of you are wondering, some of you might not be wondering, some of you might not care, but I'm going to tell you anyway, what I have been using to keep track of our budget, which is a phenomenal app. It's an app called Travel Spend. I purchased the lifetime subscription to it. It unlocks all the fancy things. It makes beautiful pie charts for me with each category. Gives running tallies for the days, surplus, deficits. It's a wonderful app. If you want to keep track of your spending while you're on a vacation, or you're thinking about traveling the world like we are, or if you're currently traveling the world and you're looking for a different app, check it out. It's called Travel Spend. So that's the app that we use to keep track of everything. So like Melissa said, 42 days, Puerto Vallarta. we spent a lot less than I kind of thought we would for the 42 days. So I'm pretty happy with the way that went for the 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you said that we spent a lot less than expected, I have to say there's a disclaimer in there. We did wind up getting sick for a week, and we kind of laid low in the Airbnb. I'm pretty sure that we may have caught COVID. We never got tested officially, but
Yep.
that knocked us out for about 7 to 10 days, and we didn't really go out. I think we got a rotisserie chicken and made that thing last for like 3 days, so that saved us a bunch of money on our daily budget, but it kind of knocked us off of our feet for a little while.
Yeah, so I think the moral of the story here is that Melissa's trying to get at, if you want to save money while you're on a trip, just get sick to where you can't go anywhere. Yeah, you'll automatically save money.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we want to thank you all for watching these videos. It takes a lot of time editing and getting the filming and stuff, and we love doing it because we love to bring you all into what we're doing. It's a wonderful experience. So one, we want to thank you all for joining in on this adventure with us by watching these YouTube videos. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Jason and Melissa Travel.
We are a little baby channel, so if you really enjoy what you're seeing and you enjoy what we're putting out, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out, and we really appreciate it. And by the way, please feel free if you have any questions or comments. We get back to that stuff. Jason is really good about answering that stuff in our feed underneath any one of our platforms. We're happy to engage with you, and if you have questions, please feel free to ask us. We really wanted to make this accessible. The people that went before us made it accessible for us and helped us to put it into perspective so that we could do
They
it.
did.
So we're happy to share what we have, our knowledge, and what we're learning as we go along the way. So please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next videos. We are in our next location, so videos from a new location in Mexico coming your way. Bye.